I know we're getting a lot of Khorne versus Skaven, but come on. This replay from Stormrunner, aka FBT, the Phoenix of Frost versus Cantech. We get Queek Headtaker. You know I'm gonna frickin' cast it. All right, you just know that's a thing that's gonna happen. All right. I also do think this is one of the more fun matchups in the game. Skaven versus Khorne, both sides have pretty clear objectives. Khorne wants to rush you and rout everything off, and Skaven just need to hold on and deal what damage they can to Khorne's very expensive roster. For the Khorne build of our friend Stormrunner, we do have 2 Chaos Furies, 2 Chaos Warhounds of Khorne in the far flank on this extremely open map. I think this is MP Crossroads. We have triple Marauders of Khorne, 2 Spawn of Khorne, Skarbrand the Exiled, and the Skullcrushers of Khorne, and the Skullcrushers ROR, the Knights of the Brazen Throne. For the Skaven on the other side, we have a front line of quadruple Skaven Slave, a back line of triple Plaguemung Censer Bearer, one of which is the ROR. We have the Avalanche Mortar Globes plus 2 normal Globes, 2 Rat Ogres, a Plague Priest on a Bell, with Plague, Vermintide, and that's the Bound Pestilent Crest. That doesn't count. Then we have Gorich. No, that's a Warlock Engineer. Its picture is just stupid and always reminds me of Gorich. With just Howling Warp Gale and his Mortis Engine Armor, and Queek Headtaker with all of his buffs and debuffs for everything. He's here to ready to do big fights. So there's 2 different Mortis Engine effects in the Plague Priest and the Warlock Engineer. I guess that's for bumping and grinding. Feels a little bit of an overcommitment to me, but oh well. Chaos Furies from Stormrunner dive right in onto both the globes, trying to take them out, and Skarbrand just runs straight through the front line to stop the Avalanche Mortars from firing anymore. Now already Khorne has not felt the best. Out of his 3 Marauders, 2 are under half HP, but the Knights of the Brazen Throne and the other Skullcrushers are pushing through without an issue. Furies are immediately killed by the Plaguemung Censer Bears, and in the back we have double Chaos Warhounds, both teaming up with Skarbrand, who has popped his Rampage aura, causing the Avalanche Mortars to rampage into melee, which is pretty funny. 1 Poisonwind Globe is routing, though the Furies that are currently routing it will crumble away into dust. And Khorne is doing okay. Balance of Power hates him, but he is pushing through a lot of good stuff, and another globe is about to rout. So a lot of the carry potential of this Skaven is in their ranged assets, and those are all gone. I think I saw a summon somewhere in this madness, but we do have a whole bunch of Censer Bearers descending on Skarbrand with his limited armor, plus Trophy Heads, lowering his melee defense to 5. Ooh, Skarbrand does not want to be in this fight anymore. He needs to peace out. Elsewhere, the Skaven are mass routing, but Khorne doesn't have a lot of assets left on the field to really chase them off. You can see just in the distance, they're rallying and just coming back to the fight, which is fine for them. Plaguemung Censer Bearers really holding their own, fighting back against the unstoppable legions of Khorne, but even their strength starts to waver after a little bit. But, if they're staying next to Queek, they'll be okay. He has occasional stand your ground buffs coming out for them. Knights of the Brazen Throne get a really nice side charge, following up by the Skullcrusher ROR, but the regular Skullcrusher, sorry, but they're charging into each other, so it does get limited a bit, and we do get a big Plague cast. Now, the reason this Vortex isn't considered very good is it can do a lot of damage if targets sit in it, but there's no reason for them to sit in it. It has no, like, suction aura or anything like that. They just walk out. Easy peasy. So, Plague, a little bit of a sad spell these days. Skarbrand is still out here. He's now trying to find a Warlock Engineer while getting hit in the back by Poisonwind Globes, and he has taken actually a good amount of damage on that, and he just immediately goes over for the Globes. Screw this Warlock Engineer, I don't want to deal with it. Khorne's looking good at this moment. Skaven are up on the balance of power, but I think with 2 elite Knights, no Globes or Avalanche Mortars to take them out, I am feeling pretty good about Khorne's chances in this game. Plaguemung Censer Bearers, the ROR, is out there fighting Chaos Spawn and Marauders and all this nonsense. So Skarbrand still tries to push out the Poison Globes. He's getting his ass handed to them by his Warlock Engineer in melee combat, which is kind of funny. Chaos Warhounds of Khorne are back. It looks like they're charging into the blob, but I would actually much prefer for these asset pieces that are back with their very low leadership at this point. See, they're going to rout again already. I would have preferred them just chase any Skaven that were already routing, because with their low leadership, they're not going to do anything in a stand and fight, and yeah, they're routing off already. So that's a shame. Globes are back. It makes Skarbrand have to do a lot of the chasing, or these Skullcrushers, which they also should do. That'd be one thing for Khorne, is so far this has been pretty good, but it's just like, when something routes, you just need to finish chasing it, rather than let it come back and then you need to commit resource chasing it again. Skarbrand is still trying to kill this Warlock Engineer, and he's just having the hardest time, but he does eventually get a couple shots onto it, and even manages to shatter that Poisonwind Globe. Skullcrushers both traveling after the same target are going to eventually get these globes, but they're maybe blobbing up a bit much. Queek and his crew running around, regathering all the Skaven forces, trying to get them all back within his leadership aura, meanwhile routing off whatever marauders aren't being protected by Skullcrushers and Skarbrand is finishing off the Warlock Engineer. A little bit of fast forwarding as each side does some regrouping. Skarbrand's trying to pick off these last few rat ogres off in the distance before they can get back to their team. And again, the dogs charge into the blob just to break off. Would really like to see them chasing around these super low leadership targets far from home. Skarbrand and Skullcrushers charging back in. We still have one Mortis Engine aura in the Plague Priest, though it is extremely limited. It's about like 1/3 the strength of a normal Mortis Engine, and Skarbrand charges back in, immediately throwing down his Rampage aura, though who is not Rampage is Queek, meaning we'll probably get the trophy heads, there it is, onto Skarbrand, making him once again have 5 melee defense. Skaven forces are getting very, very low on HP. Somehow their leadership is holding. It's mostly due to stand your ground from Queek. And everything is rampaging except for Queek and the Clan Rat summon. Another overcasted plague from the Plague Priest. It is hitting some of the Knights of Brazen Throne and the Skullcrushers, though they are trying to path out of here. Skarbrand's taking a ton of damage from Queek and all the lads. Queek himself has 400 value. Oh, wow, just insane value from my boy Queek. These Plague Bearers are somehow holding on, but now they at last break. Everything is breaking for the Skaven except for the Plague Priest and Queek. And somehow, even with these 2 elite knights still around, Skarbrand's still around, just Queek here for the Skaven. The balance of power still thinks the Skaven have it in spades. And I guess that's just how things are going to go. Queek's still trying to duel Skarbrand, but the Skullcrushers should be able to take out the Plague Priest at least. They have armor-piercing anti-large. They should slap him around, and then Queek's low leadership will be the death of him once again. Skarbrand starts to chase off Rat Ogres. It looks like no, he's going back in for the charge on the Plague Priest, who just gets torn apart by the Skullcrushers. But he does get one last summon off before it all goes down. Balance power favors Khorne for the first time this entire game. Skullcrushers and Skarbrand manage to tear out off the Clan Rats, and Skarbrand needs to just leave. Like, Queek's pretty good at fighting Lords, and if he kills Skarbrand, he might actually have a way back into this game. Skarbrand opting to fight with him with this low HP is a problem. But he slaps Queek in the side of the head, does a lot of damage. But can he get another hit off? Queek's leadership is holding somehow. Oh, Verminous Valor giving him a little bit more. Rear charge from Rat Ogres, rear charge from the Blightscab's Plague Pack will keep Skarbrand in here. He's down to 900 HP. Plenty of leadership, though, so he shouldn't start that Demonic Crumbling just yet. And the Skullcrushers are all still fighting. There looks like they're trying to get to Queek, who pops stand your ground to give everybody pretty crazy leadership. Skarbrand's leadership goes down to -1 somehow, even though he has 900 HP. He just starts falling. He starts his Demonic Crumbling, and he will fall away as more and more Skaven come back. These rather healthy Plague Monk Censer Bearers were somewhere, and they're coming now for a rear charge onto Skarbrand and his friends. Skarbrand's barely hanging on to his leadership, but again, he starts crumbling away, and the Skullcrushers not getting a lot of cycle charging out. They're just bumping and grinding with Queek. They do manage to finally tear out him. Khorne is still ahead on the balance of power, but there's one Plague Monk Censer Bearer here. Knights of the Brazen Throne still trying to kill Queek. His terror route turns into an actual route. And can the Knights of the Brazen Throne just get away from these Plague Monk Censer Bearers, chase off other routing things, finish off Queek, and win the whole game? It is hard to tell. Some brutally damaged Rat Ogres are coming back into the fight, and the Skullcrushers need to get new attack orders. They can't keep following Queek around. They just need to work on routing everything else. Terror route off the Rat Ogres as soon as they get into the fight. If it turns into a natural route, it'll probably shatter, but it does not turn into a natural route. They are going to rally and help out again. Knights of the Brazen Throne getting very, very low on leadership. There the Rat Ogres shatter. Knights of the Brazen Throne route. Skullcrushers charge back in onto Queek again. They just need to hit the Plague Monks. They don't need to hit Queek. Like, they can do good damage on him, sure, maybe, possibly, but Cavalry are pretty bad at finishing off foot characters, and they could just get a nasty charge on the Plague Monk Censer Bearers and end it all. Anyway, Knights of the Brazen Throne are far away enough that they should rally. Khorne throws Relentless Rage down into the Skullcrushers so they stop losing models and they don't break at all. The Knights of the Brazen Throne are back. The balance of power is insanely in Khorne's favor. We have Skaven Slaves rallying, but they're going to be worthless. The Plague Monk Censer Bearers are almost gone. But the aura wears off. The Skullcrushers immediately route for Khorne. They're going to get in the way of the Knights of the Brazen Throne. Can the Knights of the Brazen Throne get a good charge off? They do, and they will terror out the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, and Khorne will get a victory. But it was so close. Skarbrand, 4,300 value. Both the Skullcrushers getting about the same, almost 1,800 value. Chaos Spawn did okay. Furies did all right. Dogs did okay. I would have liked to see them chase down more units rather than joined the blood fights, and Marauders did what they had to. The other side, Queek didn't get a lot done, but he did keep stuff in the fight, so good for him, I guess. Warlock Engineer was okay. Plague Priest did very well. Censor Bears did surprisingly well. Yeah, they did really well. Nice stuff there. Rat Ogres did fine. And Globes got shut down very quickly from Khorne, so it was a good game. Rawr.
Subscribe, yes, yes.